Alright, and here's the beginning of the video, and this is the car pulling in the shop for the first time. Of course, you see it as a Ford Mustang coupe here, 1967. This was a running, driving car. There's the old 4-speed transmission, a couple of T5s over there, which will be what's going to be going back into this car. Not the engine, but the transmission. Here's just a shot showing the before. The firewall all is going to be cut out. Full floor pan will be cut out, and rear section of the trunk. Now this is just a video showing basically what you're going to see on the inside from the very start of this getting into the shop. All the quarter panels, roof skin, basically all the rear section of the roof section for the coupe, taillight panel, all this is going to be removed from the car. Of course, here you see it, the engine has been pulled out. You see that new firewall sitting in place. Of course, shock tire is going to be cut down. There's the firewall from the inside view. And of course, it's easier to get these quarter glasses out just by cutting the quarter panels off, because it's going to be cut out anyway. So looking there's that firewall on those frame rails. There's the full section of the floor cut out all the way back to that rear frame rail brace. And then we'll just kind of see that the interior's all been removed. All the wiring's been pulled out. We'll go down to the back section of the car. The rear end's going to come out. All that rear section, all the rear section is going to be refinished, cleaned up. All that rust is going to be removed. So you see the taillight panel there. It's going to get a Shelby taillight panel put in that. And of course, here's just walking around the car, just showing the other side. But now let's go ahead and show it from everything going ahead and being cutting off this car. So this is it with everything still basically on it. So now let's see everything removed. And this is the flashback of it being a coupe. Of course, you can see the everything's in the back. It's pretty decent. Of course, the side quarters cut out to get those quarter glasses out. Floor pan all replaced in the car. Everything that needed to be replaced was replaced. All those front K-member that's going to be going in this car is going to be the tubular K-member. Shock tires, of course, cut down. So you don't have no issue with any clearances. All new fender aprons, radar support. And then let's go ahead and get back to now. But going over here, looking at the top, without using that inner structure, that's been cut, angled down, and all this rear inner structure has been made out of your 16 or 18 gauge, just whatever you prefer to use. Of course, 16 be stronger. And this, of course, this don't get used. You see that inner structure panel, and the outer quarter panel, all that welded in, so there's no flex in this right here. No issue with that. Everything welded all the way across there. Okay, now going to this one over here, it does not have those inner pieces welded in this one yet. So go right over here and show you this one. Of course, taillight panel is in good shape. No reason to swap that out. All the floor, everything looks good down here. None of the inner panel is in this one just yet. But you can see, piecing it together, all that'll be made to run all over along all this and in that top brace. And then your pieces here to support the side. But both doors the same. Those are Scott Drake doors. There's that rear brace that runs along the top of the back. And you can see how it's look at the fastback over there. It's notched to go around that roof panel there. First thing you see, of course, the coilovers. Now these coilovers are spring rated for the small block Ford. Of course, they're loose right now because nothing's adjusted just yet. Everything's just being mocked up. Now spindles, it does say that you can use a spindle from a Fox body. You will have to use your rack and pinion from a Fox body. This is a brand new rack and pinion, power rack for Ford Mustang Fox body. You will have to buy a bump steer kit for this. But it says they recommend you to use a 94 to 2004 Ford Mustang New Edge spindle and brake assembly kit. So the 04 Cobra, 03, 04 Cobras look real nice on these cars, especially with that Cobra brake caliper. So if you want to run that option. But one thing you have to do with the kit, the original spring retainer that was welded up here, just plug welded, you will have to drill those welds out and remove that for this new camber adjustment plate on the top to fit flush. And there you'll see how nice it looks. And you can also loosen these bolts and put your 1/2-inch drive, and then you can turn that to adjust it where it needs to be. So that's really nice. Now, it also comes with the motor mounts for your small block Ford or your engine application. And it mounts right there to the frame. Now going down here to the frame, it comes with all the hardware, but what you're not seeing that it comes with is it comes with sleeves that go in this frame that you'll weld in to keep the frame from crushing down whenever you torque these bolts down. Because if you didn't put the sleeve in there and you torque it down, as it adjusts over time, it'll loosen up. So that's one thing you can't see, but it is welded in there. Now the spindles were not in the kit. These spindles are something added, of course, because you gotta buy them separate. But it does come with your control arms right here. It comes with your coilover kit and your adjusting plate up top. And there you can see it bolted right there at the bottom. And it comes with that K-member. Just looking at everything under the hood without anything being in the way. All clean. And a lot of times you have issues with your exhaust manifolds or your headers. Those Patriot headers on that one car was real close, so there's not going to be any issue with the headers rubbing on this car here. And there you can see that's the 4-link kit for the rear, the bars. And going up under the inner fender, you can see how nice the texture is of that undercoating. And that's not the cheap junk out of the can, that's actually the professional stuff sprayed out of the gun. And of course this is the blue car. So this is the blue car that I started the video with. On the bottom of the car, it's all rim wrapped lined down. It's got the rubberized undercoating on the bottom as well, but it's also painted to match the color under the hood. So let's go ahead and get an undershot. All right, now it's up in the air. We can kind of go under it, kind of look at this kit here. You can see where it bolts directly up under. Now here, the kit comes with sleeves that you'll weld into the frame, the front frame section, so that you don't crush the frame whenever you torque it down. So you can get a good look at the setup there with it in the air. Nice looking kit, that's for sure. They want you to know it's a good kit. That's why they got that decal right there. So there you can see under the bottom, you can see where the firewall runs from where it's shiny and gloss down to where it's the material in the bottom that's rubberized undercoating. So you can see it's a real nice texture material, plus it's color matched to the outside of the car. Now all this up here, this is for the 4-link system in the rear. All that's already been sized, put in the frame. The brace is also put in right there, and the bar right here is also in. So you got everything right here that's painted to match, and then the bars down there, which will go in, the one that goes right here, the one there, and then you got the ones right up here, and then the coilovers. So just a little bit of a look at the bottom, how nice it is, and how nice it's turned out. Let's address this right here. You'll say, okay, what's the fender doing on there? Okay, well the fender, the reason why it's cut like this is to gain access to the bottom, if need be, easily, and to the top. Now this here is the hood that's gonna go in the car. And the purpose for this hood is not gonna open like a standard hood like that car. It's not gonna flip back. The idea is to customize some hinges on this hood right here and let the hood open up at an angle right here like this, because the hood can't just flip up, it's got to raise up and then out so that it clears the fender, and it's got to be able to shut perfectly, all the gaps line up perfectly. So you know, that's the purpose of that. You can see right here, this right here is cut out to be able to modify hinges underneath the apron there, and to give it that body line so you can make sure when you open the hood that it don't rub when you put a fender on it. But you can see how well everything lines up right now. Okay, now let's see how the hood opens. All right, now from the front, you'll see the hood opens sideways. And there's the hinges right there. They're adjustable in every direction. There you can see it open sideways. It'll open straight up if you want it. It'll open more than that, but right there is about the right pitch you really want. But there it is with it up, and then we'll hit it with it down. Okay, here's the Coyote. This is a F150 engine. A lot of people run the F150 engines because they're a lot more affordable to buy and do these conversions with. So we have the Gen 1 Coyote here, World Slayer right there. So it's all tore down, just basically to the long block pretty much to get it set down in there. You can see the mounts. These right here are the mounts for that cross member. The engine wouldn't sit exactly where it needed to be for the transmission to fit the tunnel correctly and for it to fit without having to cut everything. So these are bought from the store. They just had to be cut and moved so it would fit right. Now over here, quick time bell housing. So bell housing right here. Now if you're gonna do the conversion with your Coyote motor and run a T5 transmission, then what you can do here on your flywheel is run a 99, I believe it's 99 to 04 Cobra and Mach 1 flywheel is what you got to have for your transmission to correctly fit onto the Coyote. And then that flywheel from the 99 to 04 Cobra or Mach 1 will directly bolt to the Coyote. So that's what's sitting over here. All these goodies right here. So there's the bell housing that adapts the Coyote down to the T5, T5, TKO, TKX, all the different sizes. That is a clutch kit for 99 to 04 Cobra or Mach 1, and then it will go right direct to that crank so that you can adapt that clutch down to the T5. So go ahead and show this right here. This is the bracket. This is the power steering system right here that they have on some of the 2000 model Fords. You can pick those up at a parts store if you want to custom make brackets and everything else, but they're pretty compact. That's the same type of power system that's on my Ford Explorer and Mercury Mountaineers. So this is just all the bracketry to make the power steering work to the Fox body style rack and pinion that's under here. But now looking at everything under here, under the hood of the car, you'll see all this right here has been notched and cut for that Coyote to fit. And of course, all this, that was for that actuator for the tilt hood. You can see those hinges there for the tilt hood. Everything's in gray sealer. There's still a little bit of work left to do to get everything straightened up before it's finally finished for paint. But you see all this open right here. This right here is made out of thicker steel because these cars are pretty weak as it is. So any of that metal right there that you cut out, that car right there can twist. So this right here is a thick plate of metal, and that's made for the booster, which that's not going to be the booster, that's just for fitting and fitment. But that's basically the size booster to go in there. So if you ever was to have to take the booster back out, and you can't get it out with the Coyote engine in here. So that's what this plate right here is for. You can take that plate right there off from the inside of the fender, and when you take that plate off, you can access the booster and get the booster right out without ever having to take the motor out. But without that right there being cut out and that plate made, you'd have to pull the engine just to put that in there. Right there's the plate. Real nice, strong. And that's the plate that'll go right there. So it'll match real nice when you got the hood open, be real clean. So if anybody that gets this car, that right there is how you get that off if you ever needed to do any kind of brake work. So everything's almost finished under here. Over here, there's a few more brackets. This right here is where the little piece that goes on top of this cover right here for your actuator, because that's the cover here that goes right there to cover the actuator under the hood. See, all this right here has been notched and cut for that Coyote to fit. Now, looking at these right here, cutting them out on them shock towers, right here is a big thick plate comes down that helps secure and sturdy everything up from here for your coilovers, because you don't want them to flex at all. So that's just added support to keep any flexing out of this front end for the suspension. And here's what it looks like sitting in the car. So we've jumped from it sitting over there on the floor to it sitting in the car, you can see. But you see all the room in it. It's real clean right through there. How nice the room it is. But a little update on it. Figured I'd go ahead. Of course, you see that nice Coyote paint there. All right, when you're looking at the front of the car, of course, we've already seen the Coyote engine. Also pointed out the wiring. Now this wiring right here, this is the body harness. This is what comes factory on your car. Well, this is an updated harness with the updated fuses for the 67 Ford Mustang. Now, it has the power by the hour harness on this engine. It retained all the factory engine harness. The only thing different that it didn't retain, the wire that runs back here to the alternator, and the wire that runs over here to power the compressor. Now that is a vintage air compressor. That right there is for the direct for the Coyote. And it comes with a few little brackets right here to put that on. It pretty much goes right in the spot. It's smaller than the factory one, so it fits easily between these frame rails. Give you a little look at that. Okay, now the wiring, it all runs around the bottom and then over to back there where the starter is, and the lead runs up the frame rails and over here you can see, and then the wiring runs around and into that little computer slot made right there. Now let's go on the inside of the car real quick, and there you have it right there, which runs up to your little box. And this is also powered by the hour fuse box. And right there. And all the wiring over here, that's all modern wiring, but it plugs in just like the factory wiring does. It's just, you're looking at different fuses. This right here is the more modern fuses, and it doesn't use those old school style. Of course, now with it being Coyote, you got to make a little bracket there for the fly-by-wire throttle, so it fits on the floor of the firewall, the toe board, because you want it to fit on the toe board just right, and you don't want any carpet to rub the side of the pedal. Wires here that run down. This does have a manual transmission in it, but if you are running the automatic, you can run your shift up and shift down for buttons for paddle shifters or button shift with this power by the hour wiring harness. Now this is the fuel system that I showed in the box. This right here being what releases your vapor. When you're filling up your fuel, it releases out the vapor to keep it from, of course, spitting back and filling up with air. This right here just has to be mounted higher than the tube. So you got your gas gauge, and then you got your fuel pump. You got your return, and then your fuel runs out to your tank, to your engine. This right here is what plugs in to that. Now this right here is what's going to be running the Coyote. This is also from Power by the Hour. You can, of course, get these right here. These tanks, they sell them at CJ Pony Parts. They sell them at Kentucky Mustang. You can go Jegs or Summit. They also have them. Now there's the wire that runs over here for your mass airflow. Of course, right here, which will run real nice and hidden. This regulator right here on a Coyote, it should be at 55 PSI for a naturally aspirated, non-boosted application. So this is the mount here on the firewall. Good little spots already made into the firewall for it. And then the wires running down for the fill and then return. And then the one that runs over here right into your rail over here. And then you have your vacuum, which right here, you just push this. This right here pulls right off. You take this tube out and replace it. They sell a kit that has a little nipple that screws into there, and that right there will run your vacuum line over for your regulator. Now let's go ahead and get this thing up in the air and show you the lines up under the bottom of the car. Now going underneath it, here's the wiring harness that I was talking about from Power by the Hour, which runs over through here. These right here, these leads will run to a power rack. If you have a power rack and pinion, these right here are what you're going to use. This car is not going to use a power rack. It's going to use a power rack for the old school style power, not electric, but a pump style off the motor. And the wiring harness from the engine harness that goes to the alternator, you won't use that wire. You'll use the Power by the Hour wire, which will run into that. Now this is going to be using, you can use the OBD plug gauges. This car is going to be using original style gauges. So it has the original style oil pressure sending unit. There's a better look at the compressor from Vintage Air. And the wires that run down through here, mount up just like the factory, and into the starter. Well, that's just a test starter. And then over into the back. Of course, you got your wire that runs up here for your speed sensor. And then for your fuel system, which is way up there, there's the lines for the fill and return, which will run all the way down through here and then back in there for the tank, which there you have the tank. The fuel lines have come through now, got the grommets on there, and where they run up right into here, of course, these right here in, got the little pieces that run into there with the beveled edge. Those should be here in a couple days, so waiting on those. All the wiring for the lights is ran back here to where they go. They've just not got the little ends crimped on them yet. But the wiring is in place there. And running down right there. And everything's just sitting in there for testing. Kind of like the Chevelle. I done a video showing everything sitting in place just like this, just to test everything before I put it all in the dash permanently to make sure everything works. So now let's go up under the hood. Now going up under the hood. In the last video of the car, this line right here wasn't on, but it has a really nice little end made specifically just for the factory Coyote rail fuel line end. You may say, well, why is this right here not already on there? The reason why it's like this is so that once all the fuel system is hooked up, turn the key on, you pump any debris that's in this line out into a jar until the fuel's clean before putting it in here. That way you don't pump a bunch of trash into your engine. Now going over here, the actuator's back on for that side tilt hood. The cover is not on yet. The cover has to go on before the battery box, but here's a custom made battery box. Real nice, real thick. Right there you got the grounds for the battery cable right here. And that right there's what that's for. So the battery box is going to be grounded to the car, and then all the grounds will be grounded right here to the battery box. Of course, it's got the little brackets right here for strength. So battery box is sitting in place there just for the view for the videos. And everything runs around the front. Now the wires from Power by the Hour, there's the one that goes to the electric fan power. So the radiator hasn't come in yet, electric fans hasn't come in yet, but that's what that wire right there is going to be lead to. Going right over here, looking at this little waterproof starter solenoid here, that's what runs the electric fans, and that's connected down here to that battery box. The battery is in. Yeah. It's all hooked up. We're going to go ahead and crank it up and go ahead and let you hear it. All right, now walking up to the car, the condenser's in for the air conditioner. Everything's hooked up for the pressure switch. Goes over to the pump down there on the bottom of the Coyote engine. Everything's ran here except the lines. Back here, They've got to be kind of modified, pulled over, so that them lines right here with the 90 can clear everything over here. But the battery's in there. You can see right down here, this right here is what controls the fans. The fans are in, the shroud's on. These right here had to be made right in here with some nice little felt to hold the top of the radiator. Now this right here is from Power by the Hour. They didn't come with any of these right here. No brackets to hold this on. So those had to be made. And going on the bottom, those right there, those brackets right there had to be made to hold the bottom of the radiator flat with the bottom. So didn't come with any of those, so expect to make those if you get your radiator from Power by the Hour. Now all that's plumbed in, it's all hooked up. This right here, to match the car, this is the cold air intake, all just kind of cut in section to fit. Mass air in place. This right here is going to be the mount to keep it from vibrating. It's going to be held over to basically secure this right here from moving around. This right here is just in there just to keep any dirt daubers or anything from building right there. If you see that and wonder what that is. But it's basically everything. This right here, oil pressure sending, it goes down there. So that's what's been done toward the top, radiator and everything being in. You notice this right here is a Gen 1 header. This header on this side, or manifold rather, this one right here is pretty much stock other than this. It had to be cut right here, and these flanges made for the pipes running down. Of course, you can see right here, it's just tacked in place. All that's just kind of mocked up. But this side, however, it also had to be cut. You can see where it had to be tilted over. But up here, for the steering to work, these pipes right here had to be cut and shaped. Like this one, that one there, get a better view, is cut and it's beveled around that piece right there. So you get clearance. You can see a little bit better right there. But these are Gen 1 headers for a Gen 1 Coyote off of a Mustang, not a F150. So you can see, and then this right here, this is all just mocked up, just tacked into place. And there it is running back. And none of that right there is done. It's just kind of sitting in place. Just, it'll be, you know, some stuff will be tilted, changed, and moved around. It's just kind of just sitting there. But this right here is just mainly to show you the clearance. Now, nothing's been modified here, but you can see there is plenty of room right there. The engine doesn't hit that at all, doesn't contact it whenever the engine's running or revving. And on this side, of course, there's plenty of room. All that's custom made right here. The hose is put in the front of the Shelby front upper nose, and the lower nose is made in fiberglassed in. It's not one of them kits you can just go in and buy like this. This is all hand done. Fender flares, these are made wide flares. There's a company online that sells these right here in fiberglass and also in steel. I've got some in steel for the body swap car that I'm working on. But these are the ones that are in fiberglass. These are a little bit bigger than the ones on the previous car. Looking at the side of the quarter panel of the car, this right here gets welded up, so it's no longer functional. These are 68 quarters, so it does not have the section here for the vents. Now, here is the fender flare, side scoop, Shelby scoop, and the side upper scoop. Now these right here, you can see, made in Mexico. Now, they'll sit right up there against the quarter panel. Do this with one hand. And you can kind of get a good look at it sitting in place. And you can use panel bond to put these right here in, or you can use fiberglass resin, and then you could countersink some rivets through here to get it to hold to the body. But there you have your upper scoop. Now looking at the lower one, also 67 side scoop here. It's going to cap over that section right there. I'll show you. That will go up to the bottom of that, because your side skirt will go over there for the exhaust. And there it is, just sitting right there into place. Your SVO side skirts right here, which have to be, of course, riveted or bonded with panel bond and screwed and then glassed in. But this particular car is going to have these right here. These are the 427 American Racing Shelby wheels. Of course, they're staggered. You got deep dish in the rear, and of course skinnier ones up front. So that's going to be the ones that'll be going on that particular car. Got the gray centers and a polished lip. Side skirts, of course, fenders. The fenders of the car, side skirts are molded in, so the fenders is welded at the bottom. And these right here will have inner fenders in them to keep any dirt and debris from road going up into those fenders and up into the headlight buckets up there. All right, going down the door jamb, gaps, everything look good and line up good. The body line runs down where the quarter panel is, where that seam sealer would run, and then you start into here. Of course, none of this right here is being block sanded and reprimed to get that shape exactly where it needs to be. So you're just seeing everything rough. Primer just in the areas where everything's been bonded to the car. Going on the inside of the car, got the kill mat down. This is the same stuff we put on the Chevelle hood as well. All the modern wiring is in the dash. The vintage air, everything's under there and mounted. So now we'll pull away from it a little bit. You can see how that flare swoops down and goes up under the car. And on the back, now this is the fiberglass rear Shelby taillight panel. The two that I've got on my car at the shop, they're the steel panels. Now you can buy the fiberglass ones or the steel ones. The steel ones are a lot simpler, but these right here are molded in as well. You can see that line right there made into the body. Behind me, of course, you see this car is all in sealer. Last time you saw it was over on the lift, but the black for the stripes has been painted on base. It's been cleared, water sanded, and the rest of the car is scotched down. The windshield trim is down in the car. It's taped up, it's jammed out. So now pretty much everything that's left to do is sand the car, make sure everything's scuffed up, everything's taped up, of course the inner jams from under the hood and on the trunk lid, and then get ready to shoot it. So, time for a walk around before and after the paint. All right, so here we go. We're doing a walk around. Of course, those stripes will have to be masked off. All those interior jams going to have to be masked off before laying down them DuPont Pepper Gray and getting that clear on there. Now, this car will be buried in clear so that you will not be able to feel those stripes. The dash, of course, has already been painted, the exterior color. We'll walk around. You'll see that taillight panel. It's also already been painted black. It's just a matter of taping the stripes, getting that DuPont Pepper Gray on there, and burning it in clear. So let's go ahead and jump to it already being painted. Looking down the car, you can see exactly how wet it looks. Of course, it's got some dirt all over it, and it needs to be just wiped off with some detailer. Still may be just a little bit of residue on it from buffing. But these are the polished wheels, of course. Some people like them, some don't. Of course, they match that. Of course, we want to do a chrome rear bumper as well, chrome tips. It kind of goes with that. A lot of people also like to put these stainless inserts there. Of course, chrome handles and the chrome drip rails. Under the hood, of course, most people's already seen the Coyote. You didn't see it with the engine cover and the colored Ford Blue coil covers here. Also, this right here, this is all custom hand built to fit over the engine. The engine did sit up a little too high at first. Of course, the hood cut out, so the engine had to be dropped down a little bit more for this right here to clear when the hood is shut. The grill is into place. Now, a lot of people that buy these body kits, this right here, you'll notice it's cocked way out, so you got to cut the grill down. Well, this one had to be all cut right through here, straightened up, so that front air opening would be straight with the front of the car and not cocked sideways. The lower grill does have to be cut, however, to fit the inner bumper dimension. And you see the lights there hanging down. There's one right there in right now. Headliner is in place. Just got to get the side right there pulled to it to the side whenever it gets that weather stripping molding put in. It seems like it's almost done looking at it through the camera, but there's still a whole lot left to be done to the car. Now this is the 4-link rear suspension kit that you can get online. This car has been sitting in here since it started to build. It's not been on the road. So what I'm gonna do is show you these 4-link system here. This car has never been on the road, and that right there is a product of what you're getting. Never even been on the road. These bushings wear out. Now the last car that was out with that suspension, the bushings had to be replaced 2 times and hadn't even been driven that long. Let's go ahead and show you exactly what's gonna go back on this car and throw away this junk. All right, going under here, you see the 4-link setup. This was the bars that came on the car with the kit for this 4-link system, top and lower. These are what's gonna be going on there to replace it. Now this kit right here, these just come with the ends and this, and you got, of course, cut your bars to length. These came from Detroit Axle. These right here are basically what the off-roaders use for them more four-wheel drive buggies. That right there will never wear out. So there's no issue with this right here ever having problems with the bushings. So that's the ones on each side for the bottom and the ones on each side for the top, replacing this junk right here. The last time you seen the car, it didn't have any of the brakes set up on there. It now has the brakes on there, the lines plumbed, and drilled slotted rotors on the front and the rear. So there you have it in the front. The full interior is going to be TMI. The rear section, the interior panels are going to be from Mustangs to Fear. So let's go ahead, do a walk around, show you everything on the car, kind of give you an idea on where some of this stuff come from, all the brands, and everything that's in it. So let's go ahead. For those of you who just want to know what's been done to the car and the things that are in this car, that's what this video is for. So let's go ahead, do a walk around, show you what's in this car. Just so you know, it's free to do it. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It helps us out greatly here at the channel and to help get great content on stuff like this and other builds. So please, if you haven't, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. It's free to do it, it's free to watch, and I appreciate it. Thank you. Starting off, looking at the car, starting off with a 67 Ford Mustang. This car has the full conversion kit of the quarter panels, roof skin, and of course, going with the rear section of the car, rather than doing a standard fastback deck lid, this is the Shelby GT500 style rear deck lid and quarter extensions. Also, it has the Shelby taillights. These are the sequential taillights. So both sides, they illuminate left and right when doing the turn signals. We have everything down here is OEM chrome bumper, the rear valence, the backup lights. Those are pretty much OEM 67 stuff. Now going on the body up here, this is the fastback clear rear windshield, side glass clear, and clear front glass. Now, on these quarter panels, some put the fuel tank back here. This one has the fuel tank right here on the side. This is the Le Mans style fuel cap. So, Le Mans style fuel cap. This has the, along with this Shelby GT500 rear, it's got the Shelby GT500 side scoops mounted to where the vents would have been on the fastback. It also has the side scoop for the rear of the quarter panels on both sides on the bottom. So the upper scoops and lower scoops. This is equipped here with the GT500 SVO style side exhaust. These are custom exhausts. You can see those made in other videos. Right here, the fender for the flares, fiberglass flares. These are fiberglass scoops. The deck lid is a Shelby deck lid with a fiberglass top, Shelby lower. Those are fiberglass as well. Steel doors, everything equipped here. Of course, we got a little bit of an upgraded mirror on the car. The cow panel is shaved on this one. Everything right here is real nice, cleaned up so you can see those stripes. Also has the fender flare extension on the front. And going around to the front, this has the Foose inspired ground effects kit. So Chip Foose helped design this car. The front is that Foose inspired front and lower nose. So you have those fog lamps and the headlamp and grille for the upper and lower with hood pins. This right here is just a shroud to cover up between the grille and the core support. Now going to the engine on the car, real nice badge here. The engine on the car, this is a Gen 1 Coyote. It's got the blue coil covers. All this right here is custom hand built. This isn't something you can buy from a store. That's hand built to this car. The hood itself is built in with a steel frame and all this is steel reinforced and painted to match the car. This is an electronic actuator, which is operated by, which we can go ahead and go in there and show you. The actuator on the hood operates inside the car, right there, up and down through the ashtray. Now, of course, the engine is a Gen 1. The accessories to power this engine is by power by the hour. That is going to be the engine wiring harness, the 6AN fuel system right here, that's powered by the hour as well. The air conditioning system down here, that's also supplied by power by the hour. The cooling system to keep the engine cool is powered by the hour. And the fuel system in the back is powered by the hour. So all that come from power by the hour so that it can be a install for the engine, have air conditioning, have the cold air intake kit, mass air, all that, powered by the hour. So that's the complete setup to get that engine in the car. Now, transmission, we'll go up on the car and check that out. There you can see the transmission. It's a T5 transmission connected to that American Powertrain explosion-proof bell housing, cable style clutch. And that's what ties up everything up here to that 8.8 rear differential here. Now, on the rear end, it has a 4-link setup, Detroit axle, handmade links. So you have that 8.8 rear, disc brake setup on both sides, coilovers in the rear as well. Going to the front of the car, the suspension on the front, it utilizes the shock towers. These shock towers on this car have been cut down to clear the engine. It is the Coyote AJE front suspension. So that is a bolt-in setup for the front of the car with coilovers. Now the coilovers on this had to be replaced. They are going to be the 225-pound coilover springs for the front. And that's what it has on the front for the weight of the Coyote. Now the wheels on the car, the wheels in the rear, these are Shelby American Racing VN, I think 407s, vintage wheels. Sells these at any backstation you want, custom order. The fronts are 17s, the rears are 18s. Now, the trunk, it's electronic. There's a button in the front and there's another button that's hidden for the trunk lid. Open it up and you can see this steel frame right here. The top's fiberglass and the bottom's steel. So, going in here, that's the Mustang Eleanor rear trunk kit. And it ties everything together real nice. And of course this is push button release for the trunk. We'll just sit that down. It's not shut, so don't look at this like that's not lined up. It's just sitting here, not shut. So now, let's go into the interior of the car. Right away, looking at those door panels, those right there are the TMI cover over style door panels. So they cap over the door itself and they sit flush real nice with the top. And those look really nice with those rivets. Of course, you can get them in several different styles. And those also match in with the seats. Of course, you know, there's some vacuuming needing to be done. Steering wheel still has to go in. That's not an issue. That's just a matter of putting it on and then torquing it down, adding the horn cover and everything. So now looking at those seats are the high back bucket TMI. They also come with that center console, the doubled in dash, and there's that real nice Hurst shifter for that T5 and shifter boot. Now going to the back, you have that fold down TMI rear, Mustangs to Fear rear interior panels. And the subwoofers in the rear as well. And rather than using the one-piece headliner, this is the OEM style headliner. Also, to complete the kit, got the kick panel speakers down there on both sides. And the Shelby pedals. The real nice aftermarket custom white face gauges. Got some buttons here. We got the power windows. That's in the console. And then for the electronics for the fog lamps. And center vent for the heat and air on both sides. And I'll shut those doors because it has interior lighting. So that's pretty much everything on that interior. Everything's brand new. TMI, Mustangs to Fear. Of course, that trunk being Mustangs to Fear as well. So that's what you have pretty much to complete this car. Everything's new. Of course, the new hood, Fuss inspired body kit. You got new fenders, all the body, sheet metal, fastback, all that's brand new. Everything on the car is pretty much new. All right, and that's going to be the video, just the short video, which just explains the walk around of the car, the things that are put onto this car, just some of the kits where if you wanted to look it up, you could check that. But the majority of these things, you go to AJE, you go to Vintage Wheels, you can go to Kentucky Mustang for some of these things. You can also go to Classic Industries. Now, I will note that you can go to Kentucky Mustangs and from Mustangs EU and get you some side exhaust tips. You can see those in the video of my body swap build. I'm putting them in. We're also going to redo that exhaust system so that it fits a little bit better to the car, and we're going to be installing them. You can get those if you don't want to custom make your own. But you can see there, the car is complete. So now let's go ahead and finish this video off. Go ahead and check out some of the full-length videos. This is just the short video showing just the products on the car and a walk around. But if you want to see the full video of the start to finish build on this car, it's on my channel. So just go to the videos and check on the content and you can see it as well. But thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. Got the car again behind me. I'm going to address a few little things that wasn't in the video before. Now you can see, of course, on the side, it has a stripe on the side. That wasn't in the last video, the finished video. But there's a few little things I'm going to go ahead, walk around the car and show you just that differ this video from the last. And one of the commenters out there asked, okay, well, what happens if the battery dies and the electronic actuating hood is down? What happens if you leave the door ajar? Those lights right there stay on, kills the battery. You go in here, push the button, hood don't open. The comment was, what do you do? Because you can't get to the battery with that hood shut. Well, it's wired, ran down here. If you look up underneath the bumper, there you have it. You can access, just like a drag car, the hot and the ground terminal up under the car, just in case battery dies. So that right there addresses that. And it's just going to be a label explaining that. Also, this right here is on there now. That wasn't on there before. I made this on my little crew cut, whatever you call it, machine. It's just a 3D type vinyl, but I cut that out. It does have the carbon fiber in here and in here now. And on the inside, you see the floor mats. And the reason why the steering wheel's not on yet is because Tennessee weather, it's been raining like crazy. So, gotta wait till the car can go down the road and center the steering wheel up with the car. That, because of the splines here, you can just pull the steering wheel off, get it going straight, and slide it on so that your steering wheel is straight. So that's the reason why the steering wheel's not on there. That's not an issue. That's just a matter of sticking it on there and torquing it down. Okay, that wasn't on there in the last one, last video. So now that signature's on the dash, and just some pamphlets for owner's manuals and instruction manuals for some of the things on the car. Watching. If you haven't, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Of course, it's free. It helps us out of the channel and it keeps, good content coming. So hit that subscribe button and we'll get a video out soon.